Tony this spring told me that his goal was like 6,000 or 7,000, and he's over 10,000.
Wow.
And you know me well enough to know how much I hate losing.
I gotta go let him know that things have gone from bad to worse down there.
We got this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get out there, you guys.
Parker Schnabel's wash plants were falling apart. A 2-year-old machine cracking through its own steel bones. A screen deck splitting. A 4,000-degree spark that dropped a man where he stood. All in one brutal week, with Winter slamming the window shut and Parker chasing a number he has never once reached in his life.
We're running out of time. We're running out of time real quick.
Yeah, it's starting to get pretty cold, huh?
Yeah. This, I think, would be the key week if we don't get some good numbers. So we can throw some gold on the scale and see how we did.
One more breakdown and the entire season collapses. His crew is welding in the dark, gambling with machines worth millions, praying the iron holds 7 more days. Then, right there on the scale, something happens that nobody on that gold field saw coming. Running out of time. Up in the Klondike, the season doesn't end politely. It just gets cold, then colder. And one morning, the window you had to make your money slams shut for good. There's no extension, no second chance, no waiting until next month. Once that ground freezes solid, the wash plants can't process a single ounce. And whatever number you're sitting on is the number you're stuck with until spring. That's where Parker Schnabel is right now, and he knows it. They're running out of time, running out of it real quick, and the air is already turning bitter, the kind of cold that gets into the steel and the bones, and tells everybody on the property the clock is almost out.
We're roughly 4.5 away from our goal, you guys.
Another week like that and we'll have her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Keep
sick.
them running.
This, Parker figures, is the week that decides everything. Hit the numbers now, or watch a season's worth of work fall just short of the one goal he's been chasing all year. Here's what you've got to understand about this kid. He's 31 years old, closing out the busiest season of his life. 6 months, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no breaks. And it's paying off. He's on the edge of something he has never pulled off before. But he's only barely ahead of his neighbor Tony Beats, so there's no room to breathe. Every ounce counts. To even have a shot, he's got 4 wash plants pounding pay around the clock, each with its own name and its own attitude. Wash Plant Bob, a monster called Big Red, and another called Goose, the 2 of them feeding a cut they call the Golden Mile, and Roxanne, the newest plant in the fleet. 4 machines, 4 crews, thousands of tons of dirt moving every single day, all of it feeding toward one number. And that's the thing about a goal this big. It isn't won by one lucky cleanup. It's the sum of every plant pulling its weight, week after week, with nothing breaking down at the wrong moment. Lose any one of them now, and the math stops working. Stall any one of them for a couple of days, and the whole season can slip right through Parker's fingers. There's reason to be hopeful. Down at Ken Stewart's claim, where so much of this gold is coming from, things are finally moving. It's busy with all the stripping going on, but a new D11 dozer has changed the game, opening up more ground than ever.
So you made it through the frost?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Parker came down with the D11 to help that situation out.
Ooh.
Makes things a lot easier.
4 plants running flat out, fresh dirt to chew through, and the number sitting right there for the taking. So they do the only thing that ever settles it on a gold mine. They throw some gold on the scale and see how they did. The Big Weigh. The crew circles the scale, everybody pretending they're not holding their breath. This is the moment that matters on a gold mine, the one that cuts through all the talk and the hope and the long hours and tells you the cold truth. Either the dirt paid or it didn't. Parker's been told he still needs around 1,058 ounces to land his season target. That's a savage number to pull this late, with winter on his neck, the kind of total that would normally take weeks of clean running to reach. He turns to Chris and tells him to start showing some gold. First up is the bridge cut, Wash Plant Bob. Bob's been a steady earner all year, averaging around 145 ounces a week, so that's the bar to beat. The gold piles on, the needle climbs, and it settles at 174.2 ounces. Bob beat his average, a strong start, and you can feel it pick the whole crew up. Next is the Golden Mile, Goose and Big Red, working as a pair. Last week, those two delivered 330 ounces between them, and the crew is hungry to break 300 again. The needle keeps climbing, past 200, past 250, and lands at 302.25. They broke it. That little scoot is paying itself off, and the room starts to lift. Last up is good old rock sand. Since moving into Pit 2 over at Ken, stewards claim she's been pulling about 141 ounces a week. The gold stacks up and settles at 150.8 ounces. Not bad at all. A solid week from every plant. Then Parker runs the math, and you can see it land. Last week, the whole operation pulled 548.55 ounces. This week, 627.25, worth $2.3 million. A good week by any measure. But it's the season total that matters, and when it drops, the crew goes quiet. 9,569.45 ounces, roughly 4,500 away from the goal.
Our season total, 9,569.45.
That's nice. Nice.
Another week like that one, and they'll have it. Just over 400 ounces between Parker and a number that's beaten him his whole career. One more good week, and it's his. Trouble is, the machines that have to deliver that week are about to come apart in his hands. The first crack. Before we go any further, and what happens next is one of the wildest stretches of the whole season, do me one favor. If you love watching these crews fight tooth and nail for every ounce, machines pushed past the breaking point, and the people who refuse to quit on them, take 1 second and hit subscribe. It's free. It tells me to keep digging up gold mining stories exactly like this one, and you won't miss the moment it all nearly falls apart. That's it. Back to the field, because rock sand is about to scare the daylight out of everybody. Winter's here, the clock's short, and Parker spreads his people thin. Mitch is buried in the stripping program, clearing the overburden, the worthless layer of dirt and rock sitting on top of the pay, while also trying to keep rock sand alive and start the next pit on the Indian River for next year. Tyson is fighting just to keep the 3 plants over on Dominion running. Everybody is stretched across 2 jobs at once, holding the whole operation together by sheer will, because there simply aren't enough hands to do it any other way this late in the year. Parker's answer to the time crunch is brutal and simple. Crank all 4 wash plants harder, shove more pay through them than ever. Just keep the wash plants running, no matter what it costs the machines. Then, the trouble starts. Word comes in over the radio. A big problem with rock sand, cracked cross tubes. Parker doesn't panic, but you can hear the gears turn as he sends Mitch up to look at it. And before Mitch can even get there, it gets worse. It isn't just the cross tubes. There are cracks tearing through the screen deck on rock sand, too. The timing is a gut punch. They're only about 400 change away from hitting the goal, and now their newest plant is splitting apart at the seams. All they can do is babysit it through the rest of the season and figure out a plan as they go. The one bright spot is that gold just hit another record high. Totally crazy out there, the kind of price that makes every ounce in the ground worth chasing twice as hard. But that only raises the stakes. With gold worth this much, every hour a plant sits dead is money bleeding straight into the dirt. They have to keep that thing banging. Here's what makes it sting. Rock sand is only 2 years old, a plant that knew shouldn't be failing, but cracks are already running through its structural tubes, the bones of the machine. If they aren't fixed, the tubes could break apart entirely and damage the plant badly enough to end its season on the spot. Lose rock sand now, with 400 ounces left to go, and the whole dream dies with it. That's the math nobody wants to say out loud. One bad crack on one plant, and 6 months of running 24 hours a day comes up short by a couple hundred ounces.
And we're only like, what, 400 and change away from hitting our goal?
So we'll just have to keep trying to babysit it through the season and then figure out a plan.
Yeah.
Mitch climbs up to look, and it's bad. The whole cross tube is compromised. The right fix is 2 days of downtime to swap the damaged tubes. But everyone on that mountain knows the truth. There's no way Parker is going to let them shut this wash plant off for any length of time. Not now. So they go to the plan that only exists because the right plan is impossible. Pop the screens out, weld it up the best they can, and hope it's got enough life left to limp to the end. It's the same fever everywhere right now. With gold where it is, every mine boss in the territory has the same gleam in their eye. Crank them as hard as they'll go, run every scrap of material, Get the gold while the getting's good and the price is sky high. Nobody's babying equipment when ounces are worth this much, so they won't fix rock sand properly. They'll weld it together, cross their fingers, and pray it holds long enough to matter. A 4,000-degree problem. The man they hand it to is Alex, a welder who actually loves this work, even today. "Let the music begin," he says as the welder fires up. But up close, even he flinches. It's one of the worst cracks he has ever seen on a plant they've actually tried to keep running. The crack just keeps going, deeper than anyone wanted. Then, in a heartbeat, a hard day becomes an emergency. Welding overhead on a cracked steel structure is dangerous work at the best of times. Sparks raining down, molten metal looking for any gap to fall into. And this time, it finds one. A piece of molten metal, glowing at roughly 4,000 degrees, comes flying off the weld and drops straight down into Alex's boot, searing into his flesh before he can even move. There's no shaking it out, no pulling away fast enough. By the time he reacts, the damage is done. He radios for medical help, fighting to keep his voice flat, and Matt comes running. When Matt gets there, he keeps it light, the way you do up here, and gets a look at the foot. It hurts beautifully, Alex tells him. And that's no joke, because these are second-degree burns, the kind that blister and weep and take weeks to heal. Matt flushes the wound out and gets a burn dressing on, telling Alex to clean it really well at home and hit it with antiseptic gel. The metal melted clean through his sock and kept going into the skin. And then, because there's no one else on that mountain to take his place, Alex says the thing that tells you everything about this crew. He'll just keep working. No ambulance, no clocking out, no going home to put his foot up. There's no one else there to do this, so he sucks it up and keeps going, burned foot and all. Foot patched, boot back on over the dressing.
There's no one else here to do this or to help me, so I just suck it up and keep working.
Alex climbs right back onto rock sand and picks the welder up where he left off. He grinds out the rest of the cracks, lays his beads, gets the welding done, and reassembles the top deck, and Mitch fires her back up. Whatever Matt did is working. Alex can't even feel the foot anymore. But the real question, the one that hangs over everything, is whether the weld will last a week. And Alex doesn't sugarcoat it. That's the million-dollar question. No warranty, no guarantee, but fingers crossed. And a no-guarantee weld is the last thing Parker wants riding on his season, because he's about to do the one thing guaranteed to test it. He's not easing off these plants. He's about to run them harder than they have ever been run. And over on the Golden Mile, Big Red is already starting to groan under the weight of it. Pushing too hard. Parker thought they'd have it banked by now, and they don't. The gold's proving elusive, and the only answer is to push those wash plants a hell of a lot harder. So that's what he does. To claw out the 430 ounces he needs by the end of the week, he leans on his crew and his iron harder than ever. A flat-out, Herculean effort to drag 10,000 ounces over the line before the season freezes shut. Every plant maxed, every shift stretched, no margin left anywhere. Not everyone is thrilled about it. One of the operators lays it out flat. With Parker running the absolute piss out of the wash plants to hit the gold total, Big Red is running hot, and that's putting serious stress on the machines. Every plant has a limit, a speed past which the bearings heat up, the belts strain, and the structure starts taking abuse it was never built for. And right now, they're living past that limit on every shift. But it's not his call. He's just there to do his job and keep Parker happy, even if it means watching the iron get hammered harder than it should. That kind of red line running is exactly what breaks machines. And Big Red is about to prove it. Sure enough, the call goes out. Liam and Alec up to Big Red. The radial stacker has quit. Alec climbs up and spots it fast. A super slimy belt, slick with mud, giving no friction at all. When the belt makes its way up to the head drum, the drum just spins in place. The whole conveyor is caked in mud inside, and the hopper underneath is buried in material, left and right.
Big Red is pretty well dead for the season. Like, it has taken an ass kicking, and there's definitely no time or manpower to fix it this year.
Here's the failure, and it's a nasty little chain. Pay dirt from Big Red's. Hopper conveyor is sneaking up under the radial stacker and coating the inside of its belt. That slime rides up to the drive pulley's head drum and makes it slip, so the belt stops feeding pay into the plant. The root of it is simple. The radial stacker isn't reaching far enough into the rock box, so material stacks up where it shouldn't and works its way onto the belt. Get a little more overlap from the head drum into that rock box and the problem goes away. But no pay going in means no gold coming out. And no gold coming out right now means no goal. The radial stacker. The clean fix would be to move the hopper feeder conveyor forward so the pay can't get under the belt. But that takes time and an excavator they don't have. So Alec floats something that tightens everyone's stomach just to hear it. He's going to inch the entire 120-foot radial stacker backward by 3 inches, so it tucks further under the feeder conveyor. Picture it, a conveyor longer than a basketball court, balanced up in the air on wheels and stabilizer legs. To move it, Alec has to raise the top end high, use the machine's own weight to press down on the axle, then lift the axle's gullwing brake wheels clean off the ground, leaving this huge top-heavy thing standing on a knife's edge, and coax it back a few inches with the hydraulics, basically inchworming it backward. It's the kind of move that exists nowhere in any manual because no one in their right mind is supposed to lift the brakes off a 120-foot conveyor and try to walk it. The physics are brutally simple and terrifying. All that length, all that weight, suspended high in the air, and the only thing keeping it upright is balance. And once those wheels are off the ground with the conveyor up in the air, the whole thing is unsettled. If it decides to roll away, there's nothing to say it won't keep going and topple right over, taking the whole afternoon's gamble, and maybe a man, down with it. Alec admits straight up that this is completely experimental. He's never done it before, but it's the only option they've got. They mark a line in the sand, a point of no return. And with the gallows humor these guys run on, he tells his buddy that if it goes south, well, it was nice knowing him. Then he starts. He pulls the brake wheels up, warning everyone to stand back, because the second those gull wings lift, the whole stacker could go over. They're putting their prayers to the gods, one brake off, then the other. And then the stacker starts to move. A lot, far more than anybody wanted to see. Alec raises it up, and the wheels begin to creep, slowly, the only safe speed, because the whole structure is swaying back and forth like a mast in the wind. His heart is in his throat watching it rock, knowing it could tip at any second, knowing there's no taking it back once it commits. He gets half an inch, then his height. Then he lowers it carefully, easing the gull wings back to the ground and checking it still level side to side. Up at the other end, John measures the gain, 3.5 inches. Exactly what they needed. As long as the material stops piling up at that spot, it won't work its way back into the belt. They fire Big Red back up, and the pay lands right where it should. The gamble paid, barely, and the plant is running again. But running good and running safe aren't the same thing, and Parker knows it.
Hopefully it's got enough life left in it to get to the end here.
Oh yeah.
If you look at the gold prices right now, every one of these mine bosses has the same mentality, dude. Crank them up as hard as you can, get as much material through them to get as much gold.
He's now got 4 wounded plants, a welded rock sand on borrowed time, a stacker held up by one experimental gamble, a Big Red running hot, and he's about to ask every one of them for the biggest week of the season, all at once. Something has to give. The only question is which machine breaks first and whether it breaks before they hit the number. The last way. Parker gathers the crew, and the whole season's weight is sitting on this moment. They've produced more than 9,500 ounces. They need just over 430 more. The guys are honest with him. They've thrown a lot of rocks at those plants this year. It's getting rough out there, and they found big cracks in rock sand this week. Parker hears it for what it is. If they don't hit the 10,000-ounce goal, it'll be because of the plant breakdowns, and he knows the wear and tear is the price of all the dirt they've pushed. All they can do is keep them going. Nobody pretends it's been easy. The cold is settling in. All for good. This is the key week. So they throw the gold on the scale. Wash plant. Bob goes first, out of the bridge cut, where he's been averaging 147 a week. The needle barely stretches. 127.35, quiet. Not the haymaker they wanted, and everyone feels the gap it leaves. Now Parker frames the whole thing before the next plate even hits the scale. They need a little over 200 ounces to hit the target. 200, everything. The burn, the weld, the stacker, 6 months of round-the-clock running. comes down to what's left on 2 machines and the next few minutes at the scale. There's no week after this to make it up. Whatever the gold says now is the verdict on the entire season. Rock sand is next, the plant Alex bled for. Slewing pay from Pit 2 on the Indian River claim. The gold climbs and settles at 133.9. The patched up plant held, it earned its keep, but it isn't enough on its own, which leaves it all on the Golden Mile. That's Goose and Big Red, the same Big Red they nearly tipped a stacker over to save. This is the one that has to carry it home. The needle climbs and doesn't stop. Past 200, past 220, and it lands at 258.15 ounces. 10,000 ounces. And just like that, for the first time ever in his life, Parker Schnabel has hit 10,000 ounces of gold in a single season, worth a staggering $38,341,000. The goal that beat him before, the one it took cracked tubes and a burned foot and a tipping stacker to reach, is finally his. 6 months, 4 wounded plants, a crew that refused to quit, and it all comes down to one number rolling across a scale on the last key week of the year. Think about everything that had to go right in the final stretch. A 2-year-old plant that should have died welded back to life. A conveyor longer than a basketball court walked backward by hand. A man working a burned foot rather than leave his post. Any one of those going the other way, and this number reads short. Instead, it reads 10,000. They got there, barely, but they got there. Then mining hands him one more thing, at the strangest possible moment. While rinsing out the tank from the Golden Goose, one of the crew pulls a single nugget that stops everyone cold. The goose, they joke, has laid its first egg, a perfect nugget weighing exactly 1 ounce. A golden egg out of the plant they call the goose. You couldn't write it. That 1 ounce nudges the Golden Miles total to 259.15. They tally it all up. This week brought in 520.4 ounces, for a season total of 10,089.85. They did it. But here's the part that tells you exactly who Parker Schnabel is. He doesn't shut it down. He's already passed the finish line in his head. There's still a little time left in the season, so the plan is to keep slewing, because they had a 10,000-ounce goal last year too, and didn't hit it. And now he wants to make up for lost time.
Good job, guys. And, we've got a little bit of time left in the season, so I think we should just keep sluicing and, we had a 10,000-ounce goal last year too and didn't hit it, so let's make up for a little lost time.
A whole crew bled and welded and prayed to break 10,000 for the first time ever. And the boss's first instinct is to chase even more before the ground freezes shut. So, that's the run. 4 wash plants on the edge of total collapse. A 2-year-old machine cracking apart at the seams. A 4,000-degree burn that didn't stop a man from climbing right back up the ladder. A 120-foot stacker walked back 3 inches on a prayer. Every one of them a moment where the whole season could have ended right there in the cold. And instead of breaking, the crew welded, gambled, and pushed their way through all of it. At the end of it sits the biggest number of Parker Schnabel's career, 10,000 ounces and then some, plus 1 golden egg nobody saw coming. Now, I want to hear from you. Knowing how close they came to losing it all, do you think Parker pushed those plants too hard, or was running them to the breaking point the only way he was ever hitting 10,000? Drop it in the comments, I read everyone. And if this story had you hooked all the way to the egg, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next gold mining breakdown. I've got more coming.